What's going on, guys? Before we start the video, it didn't record, but shout out to Carolina Panthers on Charlotte Vibe once again. Did a great job getting footage. Make sure you go check out his channel. He's going for 20K, but now, man, let's jump into the video. His link will be in the description below. Let's get it. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Panthers advice today, man. We gotta talk about the receivers. I mean, there was some crazy good plays, some crazy unbelievable plays, but some plays you're like, okay. So we got a lot to break down. Okay, we got a lot to break down with the one-on-ones that happened. But before we get to that, we're starting with some quick receiver stuff. And first up is Adam Thielen. The thing to love about Adam Thielen is really beginning to the end, right? He's as smooth as they come. He's got the hands. Year, what, 30 for him? 30 for him. Snagging the balls like it's nothing. Next up is Legette. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen that clip of him, right, on X, Twitter. I don't know if it, is a YouTube short now, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, right? We'll get to that in a little bit. The one thing I want to talk about with Legette is this right here. All right, this is smooth. Okay, that's all smooth and dandy. I'm not going to lie, and I've watched his release a lot. I mean, I've done countless videos over him. I did a video on all of his drops from last year, right? I almost wonder if this foot is too far back, okay? Now, I know I'm not a coach. I'm not the assistant coach. I've never worked in the NFL, right? I just stay with me right here. You see him on the release right here, right? He's going full speed. Okay, that was all fine and dandy as you guys saw. But what happens when there's a DB sitting 5 yards at the top of the route, right? And they force you to make a move. That's where I think he's struggling at. I wish we could bring that a little bit closer. And if you don't believe me, all right, give it a couple players from now, all right? But a person who does well with the Legette kind of stance just like that is Coker. And I want you guys to look at the difference between the two. The second he takes off, take a look at this. Bang. He's releasing. The second he takes off, take a look at the difference on his release. All right, it's one fluid motion. But then we go back to Legette right here. All right, it's still a quick release, but it's not in one motion as you saw with Coker. All right, so just remember that. Again, I'm not a coach. All right, I'm not the GM. I'm not an NFL receiver. Right, but then you look at Coker doing the same thing. Look how much smoother that is, okay? And the guy to really look at isn't going to be Jimmy Horn, who I think is next. No, definitely not going to be him. Then you watch Tetoria right here. First thing to look at is his stance. And why is he doing this? Because he's not trying to run by you, right? If it's an out or an in route, he's got to sell it anyway. And that's what I love about his route running. That's what's really made me start to become a big fan of his, right? Is he does all of the small things really well. The way he runs his routes at the beginning, he's trying to get you to guess. Am I going to run an out, in, hitch, stick, go, post, whatever route, right? And that's what I love about him. So when he lines up like this, you have no idea, right? And you got to realize, when you watched his college tape, how many times did he do a little double move, bang, DB bites on it, and then he goes by? In fact, didn't he just do it on the one-on-ones? Right, from the other day, a nice little double move, runs by them. That's where I hope Legette starts to really learn from. I'm not saying to copy Tetoria, right? Two different receivers in their own right. That's the thing, right? T-Mac isn't trying to run right by you. He's trying to line you up, kind of see where your hips are at, where your body's positioned, and then basically make his next move, right? That tells me he's got an arsenal. Just want to get my thoughts on that. Next up is Ja'Tavion Sanders. We start the one-on-one. Obviously, last year, man, he did his thing. So seeing him right here, who I believe is against Nick Scott, I'm not shocked. See him right here, bang, work to the outside, plant, come back in. Woo! Money, right? Because take a look right here. We're going to pause it. All right, Nick, sit on that outside foot, and look at that. Ja'Tavion's break on the inside. I mean, no chance, right? No chance right there. Next up is Tremaine right here. Big body, woo, did the DB dirty. And the reason I say the DB dirty is because the DB's giving him, outside release, right? He's playing to the inside. And look at that right there. Bang, sell to the outside, come back. I was clean right there. That was clean. Then we got Luther right here. All right, not bad. Not bad. Nice curve from the DB. And then we got Tetoria right here. Now he tries to go one hand. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But this goes back to what I'm saying. One, look how much shorter that is compared to Legette. The second thing is that little stutter he does, right? Really pay attention to how he gets off on the line right here. Right, little stutter, and then bang. It's like, I'm going to run with you. Just kidding. I'm going to run right by you, get on top. Now, he tries to go for the one hand. You know, it's training camp. I'm not too worried about it. DB's going to wrap that inside arm, right? Inside, T-Mac's inside arm right there. You know, not a bad defensive play. But you see how T-Mac works right here? He knows he's going to run that 9, right? He's running a go. But look at him right here. Line him up, right? DB's going to sit there with them. He's like, okay, you're going to sit with me. And the difference is this right here. When the DB's sitting with them, right, he's sitting at a 90 degree. Tetoria was gone, right? And then his big frame gets on top of that DB. Take a look at that right there, right? Sitting with them, bang, gets on top. See what I'm saying? That DB now has to fight over. He's different, man. This man is different. All right, shout out to Bartholomew right there. Good stuff right there. Next up, who we got? Oh, we got Jimmy Horn. Okay, another one we're going to talk about. Woo! And look at Trayvon. And I believe it's Merrick. I've been saying Morig this whole time. I believe it's Trayvon Merrick. Look at him right here. Now, he's a safety. And even if he's playing against a receiver, I don't think he'll ever be playing the nickel, right? Not that he didn't do his thing right here, okay? The other thing I want to do is I want to count how long this play takes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So honestly, if that QB only had 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds, Trayvon's all over that. Right? If that QB makes that throw right there, that's not getting completed. Trayvon recovers nicely. And that's at 4 seconds against Jimmy Horn. All right? Take a look right here. Jimmy trying to work him to the outside. Bang. Work it back in. Trayvon's all over that, but this is one to remember, all right, in a few. Stay tuned in a few. Next one is Legette. Okay. This goes back to what I was saying, all right? This goes back to what I was saying. So, Legette could be the fastest receiver. He could be the fastest player on the team. And that's the reason I talked about his release right here, all right? Because he's come to that 5 yards, and he's going to make one move. Well, the thing is, if that one move doesn't work, he's kind of stuck, okay? If that DB is sitting there playing that out route, this is where Legette gets in trouble. He's anticipating that out route being open, okay? JC's playing that completely. It's locked down. And now look at him with that hip sink. Take a look right here. He's going to hip sink. Okay, he's going to come up. It's not the smoothest either. I really wish we'd work on that stance right there, right? Shorten that thing up a little bit. Or just slow down off the rip. He's got crazy speed, like I've mentioned numerous times. Numerous times. I wish he'd slow it down at the stem, at the top, then hit the jets, right? Make that DB guess what you're going to do. When he comes off like this, right, he's going to slow down. Horn's good enough to read what's going to happen next, right? So bang, Horn's going to play that outside, and it stopped. I wish he'd slow down, make that DB guess, and at the top, turn on the jets. He's got the potential. I'm not remotely worried about it, but let's keep it going, though. Just giving my 2 cents right here. All right, this one was, what, more right here? All right, so we got more right here. Ooh, nice little press. Hold up. Nice little press. Okay. Beats that nicely. All right, trips right there at the top. And then makes... This was an interesting sequence of events right here. Run that back real quick. So he's going to get pressed right there. Bang. Fights that off pretty nice. Okay. All right, top of the route. He's going to win. Oh. All right, a little physical, but overall not bad right there. All right, next up is Coker. So we got Coker right here. Let's take a look. Coker just works this guy to the outside. Now we got some Twitter clips to look at, courtesy of the Carolina Panthers. So we got Bryce Young hitting Tetoria. Come on, man. Come on, man. He's coming down with that. I really don't even know what to say. I'm going to be honest with you. You got Brant Tillis right there, too. He's happy. All right. Watch Tillis right here. You know he's happy. I mean, this catch, though, man. And Thornton actually, I'm not going to lie. All right. He's playing good defense. How else do... This is actually insane. third, I mean, he gets his hand on the ball and stuff. T-Mac brings it. I mean, that's just. I gotta take a drink for. Oh my. Hang on. If he does that, in a game, I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm gonna say if he does that in a game. That's just absolutely insane. Then you got Legette right here. I'm not remotely worried about him. Let me make that clear. I'm not worried about him. I just wish we'd shorten up the stance a little bit. I think his route running just needs some, defining, right? I think he goes too top heavy, and by the time he has to stop and go one way, if that's blocked off, I think that's where he gets into a little bit of trouble. I would just like to see him just slow down, right? Not go top speed at the very beginning, right? Don't go top speed. Slow down, and at the top, then turn it on. On the go route, plant your defender, then bang, right? I'm not worried about him, though. All right, and then next up is the guy everyone's talking about on the internet, right? Shout out to the ESPN reporter who said no one's talking about this guy. Everybody is talking about Jimmy Horn because of this right here, right? Because of what he does to Trayvon right there. All right. Jimmy's nasty. Jimmy is nasty. T-Mac is nasty. Legette will be nasty. Coker's nasty. Adam Thielen's. I mean, this is just. It's insane. And there's some talk about more. You might like them. You might hate them. You might be indifferent. And I'm indifferent about him, right? But if you go look at his stats from last year, when the Panthers almost beat the Chiefs, all right, I think at least 2 or 3 of those big third down conversions were to Moore, right? So Moore's not a bad guy to have on the team. I know we have a bunch of receivers, all right, but Moore's still not a bad guy to have. Would I like to have Kobe Hudson? Sure. Jacoby George? Sure. Thielen, Coker, the Panthers receivers, when I say we have to talk about them, this is why. Because depth-wise, it's kind of crazy, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm like, it almost doesn't feel real. It's like, am I missing something on a receiver? But I'm going to be honest. It seems crazy. But week 1, man, can't come soon enough. I mean, preseason is right around the corner. I'm watching the preseason game right now. You've got the Chargers smacking the Lions again. Preseason, so who cares? But with that being said, that's going to wrap it up. Panthers advice is out. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy. Peace.